really more vulnerable than us, because we have the will and we have the courage to stand up and face evil, which they lack. So that makes them more vulnerable. So in a trap society like that, in a trap enclave like that, and we are pulling out, which is we are the only reason why the Fulanis have really not been able to achieve their purpose. So if we are pulling out, then what is there, that what's the guarantee that our pulling out will not expose those who are left in that enclave to more danger, to complete extermination? So for him to have raised that question was very, very legitimate, and was very, to me, it was saluting. But what happened? Everybody kept mute. Those who said they are fighting for Biafra, either they were confused, or they never knew what was going. They never understood why he asked the question, or why he expressed the feeling or the genuine concern. But because we are a government and we are legitimately standing on the right path and legally on the right path, and we know what we are doing, so we took the right decision. We gave answer to that question. And I just really want to applaud our government for reading the handwriting on the wall and understanding it, because I'm not wanting to read the handwriting, also to interpret it and understand. Because when the handwriting was written, when we're talking about the origin of handwriting on the wall, which from the Bible, the king could not interpret it. It took somebody who had the Spirit of God to interpret it. So Brigi had the Spirit of God, and they have that spirit of discernment, and they know what they are doing. So when that concern was raised globally, our government was sensitive and able to understand what was at stake. So timely, we have to move in and intervene in a very constructive manner, in a very strategic manner. It was not casual. Our government, the Republic government in exile, intervened, and later our information minister came to educate the NNAMDI case and those who claim to know and who call themselves professors and whatever. He later came to educate them on what gave rise to that concern. So that is what we are going to look at today. But on February 28, 2026, the Biafran Republic government in exile signed into law. This is, I said it is going to be, it's historic. Signed into law what is this law called? Official Brigade Policy. Official Brigade Policy of support for persecuted Christians in northern Nigeria and the middle belt Nigeria. Let me not say it by heart. Let me quote it. Let me quote it as Official Brigade Policy of support for persecuted Christians in northern and middle belt Nigeria. And this is law number 0226/2026. Just follow me. My tutors have dealt with this yesterday, and I learned a lot, and also enriched which also enriched my space today. I said when the American Congress expressed that concern that we are pulling out. And that also tells us that behind the scene, the issue of Biafran was being discussed. Like our information minister later came and educated those who call themselves whatever they call themselves. That is also an indication that behind the scene, our case had been tabled and was being considered. But there was this equation. There was this Dracula. There was this concern that needed to be given an answer. Because he did not understand it, he couldn't give an answer. A man, the other woman could not understand it, and they couldn't give an answer. And of course, they are not a government, so they are not even in a position. Even if they knew the answer, they couldn't have done it because they are not a government. But this is something that a government should respond to, because the government have asked a question, so it should be a government that should respond to it. So I give kudos to my government, the Biafran Republic government in Israel, and those of you who are in the cabinet. I salute every one of you for being so smart, for being so discerning, for having the Spirit of God, for being knowledgeable, for knowing knowing how to do the right thing at the right time. I salute every one of you. Salute every one of you. So this law is structured around 3 pillars. This law is structured around 3 pillars. Number 1 pillar, self-haven policy. Self-haven policy. Self-haven policy. Haven, H-A-V-N. That's number 1 pillar. And what does this number 1 pillar, what is it all about? This is a formal commitment by a government, by a governing authority, to provide refuge, protection, and security to individuals or groups facing persecution or credible threats to their lives. I said this law is structured around 3 pillars. I want us to take note of, because when anybody, there's a quotation in the Bible, it says, always be ready to give an answer to anybody that asks you a question concerning the reason why you believe in what you believe. So, you said when my tutors was talking, I learned a lot, so that helped me to enrich what I'm saying today. So this law is structured around 3 policies. 1, self-haven. And I said that this self-haven is a formal commitment by a governing authority to provide refuge, protection, and security to individuals or groups facing persecution or credible threats to their lives. It is rooted in humanitarian principles and the right to seek safety. So when we are looking at the importance of this law and what it portends hope to Christians of Nigerian extraction. It is rooted in humanitarian principle and the right to seek safety. So in practical terms, what are we saying? 1, it recognizes that you are being persecuted. Recognition of persecuted status. This law will recognize that, yes, you are being persecuted as a Christian in Nigeria. And of course, this law also extends to West Africa. So it's a broad law that covers a large space of area. It's also temporary or permanent residency protection. I'm still talking about under the 1st pillar, which is safe haven policy. Safe haven policy. And I'm saying that in practical terms, it talks about recognition of persecuted status. This law recognizes that, yes, you are being persecuted. Entry pathways for at-risk individuals. It creates an entry pathways for at-risk individuals. This law offers under safe haven temporary and permanent residency protection. I am being analytical because I'm still going to talk about citizenship. I'm being analytical under safe haven. What I've just said has nothing to do with citizenship, which I'm going to talk about as we progress. Temporary and permanent residency protection. Security guarantees and protection from forced return to danger. So, those of you who are within the northern region or the middle belt who are Christians, you will do well to listen to us, and because this is a law that is allaying your fears, the fears that you have had over the years. This is a law that should allay those fears. Protection from forced return to danger. So this law covers you while you are in Biafra. You cannot be forced to return back to danger. Safe haven policies are commonly used globally in response to religious persecution, ethnic violence, war or insurgency, targeted threats. So in simple terms, we are saying that safe haven is a guaranteed place of safety when survival is at risk. So the fear that we are going to be leaving you behind to be exterminated by the jihadis has been allayed. That fear has been allayed by this law that the Biafran Republic government in Ezad enacted in response to your fears, to your age-long fears. Why you have been hesitating to give your voice to break up of Nigeria. And your fear, like we said, is genuine. And that's why this law had to come into place. If your fear was not genuine, this law will not come into place. Now, it includes automatic citizenship. That's what I said when I was talking about temporary. That's an aspect of the law, because there are those who will just come only to return. So it includes automatic citizenship, which provides a legal mechanism through which specific individuals or groups are granted citizenship status. So the fear that after Biafran exit, you are exposed to jihadist extermination, it should no longer be there. That fear has been allayed by this law. So there is hope for our brothers and sisters who will be left in Nigeria after we have left. There is hope. That's what we are saying to you. There is hope. Different governments have given you hope. And this hope is solid. But as I progress, I will tell you how solid it is. But it's covered by law. Like I said, it includes automatic citizenship, which provides a legal mechanism through which specific individuals or groups are granted citizenship status, often immediately upon arrival or declaration. It removes prolonged bureaucratic barriers for these recognized under this policy. Those prolonged bureaucracy that are like barriers and makes it difficult for people to acquire citizenship. Under this law, once you're under this persecution or your life is in danger, you are offered automatic citizenship in the Biafran sovereign Biafra. So this is this is a law that gives hope to our brothers and sisters who have for years have been subjected and have no way to raise their voice or to defend themselves. So hope has come. Hope has come. So when we're talking about the key features about this criteria, specifically we are dealing with Christians or those who have shared the same value with us, because we cannot give a guarantee. This cannot be extended to those who would have come to kill us, the jihadis. No. They are out of it. This law specifically is talking about Christians that are trapped in Nigeria or will be trapped in Nigeria at the Biafran exit. So it's going to, because of what the law is all about, is going to be a kind of immediate and expedited naturalization, legal recognition as full citizens of the new sovereign state of Biafra, access to civil rights and protections, equal standing under the law. It's not a law that will discriminate whether you are born Biafran or not. No. This law, as we're going to look at the Israeli version of this law, because whatever we do always have historical precedent. So it's going to give you an equal protection and civil rights and under this law. You are the law as equal standing under the national law. This type of framework is usually rooted in historical homeland doctrine, as we're going to see. Refuge protection commitments, national identity principles. So you won't be listening to anything. It's not like Nigeria where you are a citizen, but you are not a citizen. When you talk about giving you a citizen, it means that you are going to be properly assimilated as a Biafran. So there is hope. Where they need to continue to repeat this is to reassure our people, our brothers and sisters who will be trapped in Nigeria, that there is hope. Hope has come. That's the essence of repeating this. Let it sink in. Let this fear be completely allayed, that will be left in the mercy of the jihadis. That's not going to be the case. So hope has come. Hope has come. So what is another pillar of this is the political humanitarian support. I said it's anchored on 3 pillars: the law, the political and humanitarian support, which I will call political support, which I call lawful, diplomatic, and institutionalized actions taken to advocate for your cause. So as a government, the Biafran government will also take it upon themselves to advocate. Since your voice may not be clear and loud like that of a government, the Biafran government will advocate on your behalf. Take up diplomatic dialogue on your behalf. And defend your rights and security as vulnerable communities. So we'll be out there talking about your case. So we're not going to leave you under the mercy of the jihadis. No. Now let's look at the lawful defensive cooperation. That's the third aspect of this law, the third pillar of this law. And this is talking about lawful defensive cooperation. We are going to enter into a lawful defensive cooperation with those who may not decide to come over to Biafra. We are not going to leave you at the mercy of the jihadis. That's what we call lawful defensive cooperation, which we are going to enter with you, which is legally compliant with international norms, aimed at strictly protecting vulnerable communities from violent threats. This is not instigating aggression. No, 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 no. This is about deterrent. We make sure that you are not, we deter you from even those who did not come over to become citizens, who will still be left in their ancestral land. We'll make sure that there is a deterrent. That's what this cooperation, this defense cooperation is all about. We won't be leaving you at the mercy of the jihadists. Never. And this is going to be done within international law and within human rights standards, in accordance with recognized rules of engagement. So there's something to fear at all. This law will be accordance with civilian protection principles. Now, let's look at historical precedent. Shortly after the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, take note of this. That was 1950. Shortly after the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, then in 1950, the Israeli government or parliament enacted a law which is referred to as the law of return. In our own case, we are not returning because they lost their territory completely. But in our own case, we are still in our territory, but then we are getting our independence, our freedom. But in our own case, it was a law of return because they were scattered all over the world. Even though we are scattered all over the world, but then the one case was purely a different thing. The reason why they were scattered differs a little bit from ours. So shortly after the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, Israel enacted one of its most fundamental laws. And that's how fundamental this law is to us as Biafrans. It was very, very important. It has to address some important global issues and questions and concerns. On July 5, 1990, the Parliament of Israel passed the law of return. And the core principles were every Jew, and this applies to what Brigade had just done. Every Christian who will be left in Nigeria, this law covers you. So our brothers and sisters in the Middle Belt, in the northern Nigeria, let this fear be gone and be gone forever. That we are leaving you at the mercy of the jihadists. That will not be the case. Biafrans are people with conscience, who feel what you feel, who have undergone persecution, who have undergone genocide, who know the pains you are going through, who have been in your shoes. 67 to 70, we found ourselves under threat and we underwent genocide. We lost about 5 billion for our beloved and cherished citizens, and most of which was as a result of starvation. We have gone through this. We know what you feel. We know what you feel. We know what you have found yourself. We know the danger facing you. So listen to us and let those fears be gone and gone forever. That we are leaving you at the mercy of the jihadists. It is not going to be so. It's not going to be so. So every Jew has the right to come to this country as an holy. I don't know what that means, but you can research it. But that's the law. In practical terms, what does it mean? A Jew anywhere in the world had a legal right to migrate to Israel. So that's what we have just done. Like I said, everything we do, in most cases, have historical precedent. And we're always identical with the Jews in most of the things we do. We have the same historical background and affinity. So we're not the only people that have done this. The Jews have done it. So it is very realistic and it's very practicable, because an example is there for anybody to cite. What again does that law portray? It says citizenship must be granted upon arrival. And the same thing we're offering to you. Those of you who might be under danger to flee, you have a place to float, to run to. Biafran's sovereignty, Biafran independent and sovereign nation will be a home to persecuted Christians, both in northern Nigeria, in the Middle West, and in West Africa. This is very, very important. Take it to heart. Talk to your people. Talk to your people and take it seriously. Later amendments extended this rights to children, grandchildren. I'm talking about the Israeli law of return. It extended this right to children, grandchildren, and then their spouses. But in our own case, we are not going to say later. It's automatic to you and your spouses and your children. So there is hope. There is hope for our brothers and sisters who are Christians, who today have fears of what Fulani will do to them after Biafran exists. This law has taken care of that fear. This law has taken care of that fear. That fear should no longer be there, because your case has been well taken care of, has been well documented, and is protected by law. Why was this law enacted? That Israeli law? Because after the Holocaust, like I said, we have gone through what you have today you are passing through. We know your pain. We know how you feel. Please, can somebody indicate whether my voice is still coming out? Because I'm having some sign as if my phone is frozen. Can you indicate whether my voice is still coming out? Can you still hear me, please?